Gracious God, creator of the universe, and yet the lover of my soul. Alpha and Omega, and yet I can call you friend. I don't have to beg you for anything, but I can thank you for everything. God, I thank you because this is the day that you have made, and I can rejoice and be glad in it. Thank you for this day of magnificence and glory and splendor. God, I thank you for life, health, and for strength. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for peace, love, and joy. I thank you for the essence of you that envelops me right now, from the crown of my head to the soles of my feet. We thank you for this day of manifestation. We thank you for the day of revelation. We thank you for the day of impartation. We thank you as you move in the midst of your people to bring us to the greatest times that we've ever seen since the foundation of the world. Thank you, Lord, that for this time and for this season, you've allowed us to be a part of your move in the face of the earth. I thank you, God, for the revolution that you're bringing forth, God, even in the midst of the earth right now. And I thank you for the opportunity to be a part of what you're doing in this hour, because in the last days, saith God, you said you would pour out your spirit on all flesh. And so now we thank you for the pouring out. God, I thank you for the rain and the move of your spirit. I thank you for fresh oil. I thank you for new wine. I thank you for the new thing that you're doing. I thank you now that it does spring forth. I thank you, Lord, that you've called us to be the head and not the tail. You've called us to be above only and not beneath. You've called us to be the lender and not the borrower. You've called, God, that our storehouses would be full and increase. God, I thank you because even I decree and declare that the people under the sound of my voice, even now, are moving in the might of your strength, not by might nor by power, but by your spirit. I thank you for those that are the sons and daughters of God that are called because they walk not after the flesh, but after your spirit. I thank you for the rising up of the people of your kingdom. I thank you that your kingdom come. I thank you that your will be done, even now in earth as it is in heaven. I thank you, Lord, because you are moving in the midst of your people mightily as never before. Raise us up, oh God, to the standard of what you've called us to be. God, I thank you for the standard of greatness. I thank you for the standard of holiness. I thank you for the standard of moving as the sons and daughters of yours, and not as vagabonds, not as those that never knew you, not as those that are confused and confounded, but God, those that know who they are in you. I thank you for the knowing. I thank you, God, for knowing you. I thank you for knowing your presence. Thank you for knowing your Holy Ghost power that gives us the ability to be successful. Your anointing that gives us the power to rise up and be called blessed. Thank you for that is in us. Thank you, God, for all things that pertain to life and godliness. Thank you because we are not confused. We are not deceived. And we thank you for that clarity of mind and the clarity of vision that allows us to walk forth as kings and queens, as princes and princesses in the kingdom that walk in the earth. We thank you that we are your beloved, and we rise up as the apple of your eye. We rise up, oh God, as those that you love with all of your heart. And God, we love you back. I thank you for soundness of mind. I thank you for soundness of spirit. I thank you that healing is our bread. Healing is our deliverance. By the stripes of Jesus, we're already healed. And we speak forth that healing even now for those that need it. Thank you, God, for every stripe that was taken. Thank you for the bruising. Thank you that he was wounded for our transgressions, bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him. God, with those same stripes we declare and we speak healing in Jesus' name. We give you glory. We give you peace. We give you honor. We give you blessing. We give you might. We ascribe all of these things unto you because they are yours. Thank you. The fruit of my lips giving thanks unto your name, ever giving you all that is yours. Glory, honor, power, dominion, majesty. It's yours. I decree it and I speak it In the mighty name of Jesus, it is so. Amen and amen.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I want to welcome you to today's edition of Yes You O Cube. That O Cube stands for one-on-one. Just me and you. This is our time of conversation on this fine day. Yes, this is Regina L. Stillman, your spiritual thought leader, and I want to welcome you and say thank you for joining me on today. This is Tuesday, April the 6th in the year 2021. And it's just absolutely marvelous, darling, marvelous to be here with you on this Tuesday. I don't know about you, but I'm here in the Midwest and it is just unseasonably warm, and I'm loving every minute of it. We've got gusting winds that have been coming over the last couple of days, but you know, March winds, April showers often bring us May flowers. The gusts are just moving the seeds around so that they can be planted and dispersed all over the land, and when they come forth, it's just gonna be beautiful, darling, just beautiful. So we are enjoying just marvelous weather. There's a little bit of rain going on a little bit north of us, and I don't know where you are and what your weather is like, but I hope you are enjoying this beautiful day. Now, as we get started on the podcast on today, I always like to start with the winner of Grandpa Holmes's chair. And on today, the winner is none other than the Rebel Inc. Uh-oh, let's get that volume up. There we go. Let's get it going. Yes, the Rebel Inc. is the winner of Grandpa Holmes' chair. She was the first one to get those hips in that chair, and I want to say thank you, Rebel. I appreciate you as always. And with that being said, I'm going to do a little different today and kind of change it up a little bit. I appreciate her. And I just want you all to go out there to therebelinc.com and get you some. She has some shirts and athletic wear that you all are just going to absolutely love. And her latest line, Ratchet and Righteous, Righteous and Ratchet, it's out there and folks are going crazy for it. You better get you some. Yes, therebelinc.com. That's where you want to go and get your athletic wear, your athleisure wear, and it's off the chain. Y'all going to absolutely love it. I still got to get that Righteous and Ratchet shirt. And I was telling a family member about it. I hadn't talked to her in who knows how long. And when I was telling her about the Rebel Inc. and the Righteous, she said, I got to have it. I got to have it. Then she called me back and said, Jean, I'm just trying to figure out what color do I want it in. Go out there and get you some, because I'm telling you, the Rebel Inc. is doing a marvelous job with her shirts. All right. I also, while we're doing this, I want to just go ahead and, wrong scene, y'all. You didn't see that. Just act like you didn't see it. All right. Just act like you didn't see it. I want to say good morning to all my people here. There's someplace else I was trying to go with that, but since I hit the wrong button and y'all saw my whole studio change just like that, my whole studio just went ahead and changed into something else. That is the cracks. Get your coffee cups out, y'all. Get your coffee cups ready, because we are going to have a nice conversation on this morning. I want to say good morning to Rebel Inc. Good morning, Jonna CPW. Good morning, WBTD mom and Anita Harvey. Good morning, Aguna Badger. There's my badger. I want to say good morning to everybody that's out there. Good morning, Teresa Jones. I'm so glad that you're with me here on this morning. Now, you know what you do with that coffee cup. You know how we serve it up. No cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tells it like it T-I-Z tis. So good morning to all of you that have joined me on this fine day. And y'all better pray. Y'all pray that I keep my production on track here. Because it's already shady, baby. Shady boots. It's already shady. Well, you know, I want to get my music crack-a-lacking, and as I do that, I always like to give a shout out to the creator of the music, none other than the King Coogee, and I appreciate him for these original renditions of sound to help us on our journey. So we're going to get that volume turned around just right. We're going to get ready to start crack-a-lacking with the stories. Wow, we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. I know the rebel, Inc. I know rebel. Y'all pray for me, saints. Pray for me. My eyes are open, but my brain's not quite wake yet. So in the meantime, y'all gonna have to just deal with me in my folly. Now, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, before I get started, I want to bring attention to this here locally, and I may need to bring that down a little bit. Shout out to King Coogee. Thank you so much. Y'all go out there and check him out on Outriders, and he also does where he creates right there online on the spot. He creates tracks. So go out there and check out my brother King Coogee. I love the sire. He is a precious soul and a blessing to me and this podcast. Now, to those that are in my area, today is an election primary. So I want to remind you, in case you have forgotten, get out there. Jackson County voters, I need y'all to get out there and vote today, sometime today. Now, you probably don't have to worry about the lines because it's not unusual that the primaries yield very small results on people that will actually get out and vote. Don't let that be you. Let your voice be heard because your vote makes a difference. So I want you to get out there, voice your choice, and whatever. Each of the cities are having something different on the ballot. So I know for those of you in the Independence area, we're talking about schools, and each of the different cities is talking about something else. You can go out. I posted, I think Anita Harvey posted on her Facebook as well, for those that are not sure what you're voting on, but you want to be an intelligent voter. Go out there and look and see what the issues are. Click on those Facebook page links and you'll see both of us have posted something about the voting and what's going on in your respective city. Again, if you're in Jackson County. But wherever you are and whatever they've got going on, y'all make sure get your voices heard. Now, when we're talking about voices heard, let's start while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. You know, there's a hot issue. People are taking both sides of the fence when it comes to the Georgia suppression law that was signed in by good morning, Nancy Jackson. Good to see you this morning. There is a large argument on both sides of the aisle about the voter oppression law that Governor Kemp signed into law. In the back door, behind closed doors, in front of a plantation picture with just a few slithery, slimy devils. Could it be? I'm already feeling it. Could it be? The devil? Ain't nothing but that old slimy devil. Well, the argument is heated. The argument is going on, even with Stacey Abrams weighing in. And I don't know about y'all, but I want Stacey Abrams to go as far as she wants to go, because this woman has done some marvelous, absolutely marvelous things for the state of Georgia. Now, we got Stacey Abrams, however, weighing in, and so Kemp and some others came out and said, oh, this is the most egregious flip-flop we've ever seen, because she's weighing in saying with the vision for her constituency and the people there, in her, well, she doesn't hold any official office at this point, but her people, the people of Georgia, the Georgians, she's basically saying, as we are seeing this, what I want to say, statement, and she called it a quote, mealy mouth statement from these corporations, Coca-Cola and Delta. As she said, you had plenty of time to weigh in on this before it happened. Now, let's also bear this in mind. They put their money where their mouth is not, which is why their mouth had to come out later on and try to say something else, because they put their money on the voter suppression. That's where their money went. But their mouth came out and said something different when they understood folks start talking about boycotting them. So subsequently, the result of that is that we see them moving Major League Baseball. We see them coming out making statements. Major League Baseball, let me finish that thought, is moving out of Georgia. You've got Delta and Coca-Cola. Now, as I said, Coca-Cola has continuously been on the wrong side of the voter suppression issue all the way back since the days of Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King had Coca-Cola in his mouth all the way back on April the 3rd, 1963. So, Coca-Cola doesn't have the best reputation here. So Stacey Abrams is basically coming out saying, wait. Number one, you're getting ready to hurt the people that are going to be impacted the most at the very lowest rung on the ladder, and that's the poor people that really need it. So this is not necessarily the outcome that I am advocating for. To which you have the Republicans coming out calling their shady boots and you wrong, and this is the biggest flip-flops. Stacey Abrams never came out and had a conversation about boycotting. She came out and identified that corporate, and so this is a term you're going to hear really buzzing today. Many of the media and periodicals and social media are talking about corporate citizenship, because a corporation, if you hadn't realized it, in the United States, the corporation is treated like an individual. As a matter of fact, a corporation is treated better than living, breathing human individuals. So you have this issue of corporate citizenship and the idea that as citizens of the United States, and definitely, if you notice, corporate citizens get bailouts and money before real life breathing people do. Ain't that a mess? But that's the reality that we live in this plantation capitalistic society. So the charge and the challenge is that corporate citizens start stepping up to the plate and making some noise about these levels of oppression and the things that they need to be speaking up and speaking out about. And so the pressure is on. So they're coming out like Delta, they're coming out like Coca-Cola, they're coming out like the Major League Baseball Association, and they're trying to take their corporate citizenship to another level in standing against voter oppression and suppression. So Stacey Abrams is saying, I still want you to put your money where your mouth is. Where do you really stand? Where do you really stand? Do not, and I think what she's challenging us to say, now I'm gonna tell you where I stand. I still am for boycotts. I'm all day, because I want to hurt them where it's gonna hurt them the most, and that's their pocketbook. Reach down in that pocketbook. Give me those bennies, not those 20s. Reach down in your pocketbook. That's where I believe we need to hit them, and hit them hard. So I unlike everybody else, I'm not necessarily looking at these actions and words that they're coming out saying. I'm still saying boycott them, because your money is already over there on the books. We can't get, and not those 20s. Come on here. I'm trying to tell you, Rebel, not those 20s. So at the end of the day, I'm not even for letting them off the hook with coming out with this, as Stacey Abrams said, this mealy-mouthed apology and this mealy-mouthed statement. I'm not for that as well. However, I do, unlike Stacy, and I feel her pain because she's basically looking out and saying, y'all gonna hurt my people by moving this money, not just the dollars of the business coming in, but understand that means people are losing their jobs. That means that those jobs that somebody was looking forward to being able to pay their bills are just going poof into thin air, and these individuals are being impacted, and they are at the lowest rung because these are the people that actually need that employment that those jobs provided, and so they are being devastated by this move. I understand that that is a dicey situation, and I get it all the way. Let me unshade, because there's no shade there, and y'all know I don't just throw shade, I shed light. So at the end of the day, I get Stacy's pain. I get where she's coming from. At the same time, I think SK8843 challenged us on Sunday when we were having a conversation about this behavior and the reaction and the outcome. What is their stance now, and what are they actively doing? Saying something with your lips. We need you to put your money where your mouth is. Saying something with your lips does not necessarily mean that you are truly repentant. And sometimes we'll say something with our lips to get the heat off and still continue right on. Good morning, Mel. You are my friend for sure, for sure. So at the end of the day, Stacy's really saying, I need to challenge you all. Are you really changed, or are you just talking? Are you just, diarrhea of the lips? Are you really converted? Have you really been saved? Listen, I just need to know, have you really been baptized and changed? Did you go down a dry devil and come up a wet devil? Have you really been changed is the question. So Stacy is still on them. She's like, look, wrong response to the right answer. The right answer is yes, be opposed and be against this voter oppression. But the response, wrong response, taking your money and going out. Thank you for hosting this stream. I appreciate you so much, BTD Mom. And while I'm on that, please host, please like, please share, because I'm moving on up. I'm telling you, I'm really moving, and I appreciate y'all. While I'm there, let me just say, y'all find me 12 more YouTube people, please. I just need 12 more to go ahead and subscribe and like. Doesn't cost you a thing. 12 more folk on YouTube's gonna take me over the top and put me where I need to be for a whole new existence and level. But everybody that's doing that thing, I want to say thank you and I appreciate you. Now back to the topic at hand. Stacy is saying, look, this is hurting people that really need it. I feel like the corporations and companies need to make a change. Now, the flip side of that coin is a reality. Are we getting ready to start playing musical chairs? Where are you going to? What state are you gonna move to? Because at the end of the day, it's if you leave one state with a bunch of Republicans acting crazy and go to another Republican state acting crazy. Now we know Georgia has turned blue, and the whole issue here is that they want to have the oppression and suppression of voters so that they can try to get their hips and haunches back in that chair come election day. So they're doing everything that they can. And by the way, don't forget the joy and what's going on at the post office, because brother is still just dastardly. He's doing dastardly deeds over there in the post office, continuing to dismantle it. So don't be deceived. Don't get down to the 9th hour when we get ready to vote for and elect our officials and then be like, oh, we didn't know all this is happening. Baby, he's been working steadily. The joy has been working steadily to dismantle the post office this whole time. So don't forget that. For everybody that's getting ready to, I got my plans and my hopes hanging on mail-in voting. Honey, your vote, will it get there? By the time the joy takes all the joy out of the post office, the joy is taking all the joy out of the post office. By the time he gets finished, we're going to see a whole nother reality on mail-in voting. So y'all stay woke, stay woke. But when they get finished, are we getting ready to have musical chairs and playing chess and checkers on the board, just moving these corporations around from place to place? The real issue is we need to stop the law. We need to really allow HR 1 to come into existence so we can shut it down. Shut it down. Shut it down. So all of this revolving around voter suppression and voter rights and the ability to say and stand up and speak and be heard and have our voices counted. And I want to go back to this for everybody that wants to say, oh, this is a misunderstanding. It's not about voter oppression. Let's get back to the root and the heart of the matter. All of these laws and new legislations in these states that enacted them by the Republicans, all of this came built on the lie, stop the steal. There was no steal. There was no steal. One more time for the Holy Ghost. There was no steal. So these laws were fine. These laws were effective. These laws were just perfect until we wanted to do the stop the steal, because I believe that the folks in Georgia, in the Republican Party that still stand for the Confederate flag, they were shocked, stunned, and amazed that the Georgia peach turned blue. Now there you have it. And when the rest of the country in that camp that had that same attitude of white supremacy and racism and privilege, when they saw that the Georgia peach had turned blue, they said, y'all better wake up and smell some coffee, because we not gonna get our haunches back in that seat again, because the people have woke up and they have arisen. And now that they're speaking, we can't do it from we the people no more. We gonna have to come up with some other trickery. And that's exactly what all this is. Trickery. Trickery. Just call a spade a spade. Y'all know how I do it. No cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black, and I tell it like it T-I-Z-tis. This is trickery. Trickery, beloved. Trickery. So here we see all this change in legislation because we're talking back again based off of the stop the steal concept that never occurred. Don't get lost. Don't let that get lost in your mind. Because at the end of the day, as Whoopi Goldberg, I wish Meghan McCain, oh my God, Meghan McCain, listen, sit down somewhere. Please sit down. Because we are tired of your bumping gums talking foolishness. Girl, you're just foolish. You talk like a foolish woman. You talk like a foolish woman. Sit down. Sit down, please. Sit down. Shut up, would you please? Whoopi had to get with her. Whoopi had to tell her, listen, beloved, are you kidding me? Because she wants to come out, well, if we're going to boycott, let's boycott the Olympics because Beijing is having genocide. Sit down somewhere and shut up, Meghan. Could you be? Could you be? The devil. Baby, you ain't sent by nobody but that old slimy devil. Yes, Teresa, Meghan needs to take 2 back seats. Two. Matter of fact, Meghan needs to crawl on in. Have all the seats, the front seat, the back seat, and the trunk. Can you get on the, I need you. Listen, just get out the car, Meghan. Get out the whole car. Sit down somewhere. Go back to the demon depths and the horde of devils that you... Shut up, Meghan McCain. Would you please? Get out. Rebel, yes, get out the whole car. Would you please? So she's out here hollering and screaming about the hypocrisy that's out here. And we really need to look at, listen, and before you go, and I found it, the trunk ministry, Nancy, the trunk. I need you to trunk. And then, yes, dump the trunk and get out the car. That's what I need you to do, Meghan McCain. Dump the trunk and then get out the car. Just get out the whole car. So at the end of the day, so you can come out of the spirit that you're of, your father, the adversary. I just need, yes, I said it. Your father, the adversary. Not the one smoldering in his grave, but your father, the adversary. I need you to get out the car and shut your lips as you do it. Have all the seats. Be quiet and go sit down. Sit down, Meghan McCain. Whoever is paying Meghan, cut off the cash flow because she's not worth your money. She's right up there with Miss Green. She's right up there with Mr. Cruz. She's right up there with Mr. Graham. She's right up there with the whole cloud of witnesses. She's compassed about with the whole cloud of witnesses, and they're all ignorant. Just ignorant, not even ignorant. They're ignorant. So by the time you get finished with her trying, and then I found it very interesting that she wanted to go back to China. So you have all of these, and that's going to bring me to another story while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. We still had a 79-year-old Asian American down in Texas. This young woman gets released because of COVID. She gets released from jail because of COVID, and less than an hour on the street, she finds an Asian American woman, an old, elderly, geriatric woman, walking her dog and mows her down in the street with a gun. And that's why you got all of those that made the racist remarks toward the COVID-19. You got all of the even in this scenario, Meghan McCain, who wants to pull out China of all places to pull something out. She wants to pull something out of the bag and reference China. This is a concerted backdoor effort that these people keep doing. And I think at some point, anytime you come out with all of this mess that continues to highlight and heighten people's hatred and actions against people of Asian descent, they need to be put off the show. Get rid of them. We don't want to hear another further. I don't want to hear nothing else come out of your lips. Yes, SK8843, good morning to you. And it's enough to cry about. Because why? This woman is out walking her dog. This woman comes straight out of jail. Kills this one. Nancy is beyond sad. Kills this woman, mows her down as she's walking her dog. Comes straight out of jail because of COVID-19 that's there and killed. And I'm just like, the fear mongers get so many folks scared of Asians to the point that folks are attacking them and bystanders. Now there you have an issue, Badger. Bystanders doing nothing, because at the end of the day, if you're in the midst and you just allow this to happen, and that is one of the things that the AAPI community is really sounding off about, that people, as they're being accosted and as they're being assailed upon, as they're being mistreated and abused, bystanders are just walking right on by and doing nothing. And I have to challenge us. Where is our humanity that we feel nothing just because it's not me? It's almost like Sarah Palin. The woman had COVID. I don't know if she still has it, but as of last week, the woman had COVID-19. Then she came out as an advocate. We need to wear masks. And the woman had nerve to say, I don't know where and how I got it from. And the funny thing about it, they showed multitudes of clips of her out with no mask, all up on top of people, shaking hands, this and that and the other, campaigning for people, talking about issues everywhere, no mask. Now, she is all in for wearing masks now that she's got COVID-19. Can we just listen? I need all of y'all. That's what I need you to do. Have all the seats. Sit down somewhere. And yes, Badger, Asians are being accused for this virus, and that's my point exactly when I go back to, yes, SK, as John Lewis said, I need you to say something. Badger, the whole idea that Meghan McCain to fight and make an argument against the idea of boycotting, that she just conveniently pulls China out the hat. Stop it. Stop it. You don't have to go outside of this country, Miss Megan. If you want to talk about hypocrisy, you don't have to go outside of the United States of America to find hypocrisy. You sure don't need to go to China. So at the end of the day, this is where we've got to take really a conscious effort about the things that are being said, the things that are being done, and why. Look behind these people's words. Look behind why they choose the scenarios that they choose, why they talk about the things that they talk about. So I need you all to pay attention. So I want you to listen. And then we also have to pay attention to where these people are headed in the allegations, the comments that seem to be innocent, but those innocent, seemingly innocent comments are fully loaded. They are locked and loaded. So, Megan, I don't need you to weigh in on Major League Baseball. I just need you to sit down and have all the seats. At the same time, I am unlike Miss Abrams, and I understand it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be uncomfortable. And somebody said, well, that's easy for you to say. You're not in Georgia and you're not going to be the recipient of. If it was in Missouri, I would say the same thing. I want these corporate companies to take your ball and walk. But please make sure you take it somewhere where it's going to benefit. And then how do we figure out the help that needs to go to the places that are having a loss as a result of. Now, first and foremost, I'm going to tell you my personal opinion. While I'm here, this whole idea of corporate citizenry, I think it's for the birds. Corporations are not people. That's my personal opinion. Now, I know y'all ain't going to like me for that. Some of y'all that are really, really, really all caught up in your corporation and all the tax breaks that you get and everything else because your corporation is being treated like a human being. Corporations are not human beings. So when you talk about bailout, when COVID first hit, before we got a dime, corporations got bailouts. Now, you know, so this whole corporate citizenry, corporate citizen business, listen, I'm not for it to begin with. Now, some of y'all don't want to hear me say that because the only way you're getting your hunches where you are is because your little company. I listened to several black brothers who were talking and they were like, oh, I'm all for Trump. I'm all for Trump. I'm all for Trump because my business is doing better than it's ever done before. Oh my God. Because all of the breaks and all of the money that got funneled out there while we were still waiting for the first stimulus checks, they were getting money from the government for their corporation. I'm not that one. So I'm sorry. I'm not that girl. I know y'all feel all kinds of ways about that, but I feel like corporations need to be treated as what they are. Corporations. They are not people. And for them to have so much say-so in elections, for them to have so much say-so in the processes, for them to have so much say-so in who gets funded and who gets money and all of this madness, I feel like that needs to stop anyway. Now, that's just me. So everybody's not going to agree with me on that one either. I don't care, because this is Yes You O Cubed, one-on-one, just me and you. Since it's my show, I get to give my opinion the way I feel about it. I feel like corporations need to be knocked down several notches. I'm not saying shut companies down. I'm not saying take them into a place where they cannot make a profit and this and that and the other. But yes, I am saying I do not believe they should be treated like living, breathing, walking and talking human beings. And I surely do not believe that they should get preferential treatment and have all the say-so in the process, because at the end of the day, you're just talking about a corporation and a small few that's getting money out of that at the top. And I don't care how many lowly workers you got at the bottom. And yes, I understand the whole idea. I understand the whole idea that they're employing people, but the people at the bottom still are not getting the money that the folks at the top are getting. So at the end of the day, you're still caressing and catering to a small handful of people while we are still suffering. And that's how I see it. Teresa, I gotta speak what I believe in, because at the end of the day, we have given the corporation in this plantation capitalistic society, we have given the corporations way too much power anyway. So let's deal with that demon. Yeah, let's deal with that demon first. Why is it that these companies wield and deal in so much power? Because their citizenship as a corporation is valued 1,000 times higher than your Joe Blow regular public citizen. Listen, SK, get your coffee cups out. You better do it, because you know how I do. No cream, no sugar. I take this coffee strong and black because I tell it like it T-I-Z tis. No corporation should be that much more important than individuals. It's wrong. It's a sin and a shame. Deal with that. Can we deal with that? Hello, America. Can we deal with that? They are more worried about corporations leaving, just one corporation, two corporation, three corporation leaving their cities with their money. They don't care about the workers and the people. They're looking at their eyeballs are peeled on the money. Show me the money. They're more concerned about that money walking out the door than living, walking, talking, breathing individuals. And then look at this. You had all of them saying $1,400, $1,400. That's too much money. That's too much money. They did well. They were swell with $600. What is $600 gonna do? Tell me, would you please? $600 not even gonna pay the rent or your mortgage. But that's enough for the living, breathing human being. But we need to give billions to corporations. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. I'm telling it. Listen, this coffee, no cream, no sugar. We taking this coffee strong and black because I'm telling it like it T-I-Z tis. You got human beings that you want to give $600, and then you got some folk talking about that was too much money. Oh, you know all day long, SK8843. Corps are buying political power and the politicians all day long. Buying them, just buying them. And we're out here suffering. So I want to go back to that root. I want to go back to that core while we're talking about and identifying. Like I said, I feel Stacey Abrams' pain. It's going to impact so many people at the lowest levels, and they're going to be devastated. But I feel like we need to shut this whole system down and reevaluate it. We need to come to what we talked about down through last year in 2020. And we talked about what needed to happen as far as, diversity, equity, and inclusion. I need to eat this morning. Diversity, equity, inclusion. We got to deal with it from a standpoint of transparency. Let's be transparent. Why are these politicians voting and doing the things that they're doing? Let's go back to what SK8843 said. Corps are buying political power, and they're buying the politicians. They're taking all that wealth and power to buy these people off to do what they want them to do. That's the transparency of it. That is the transparency of it. Then we need to evaluate. Come on. And then we need to make adjustments. Well, the transparency of it, as we see these corporations and we see the power that they wield in the system that determines our life. They have the power in the system that determines our life. We need to reevaluate and adjust the power of the corporation. That's what I believe. Can I say that? Well, I did. That's what I believe. That needs to be reevaluated. Because it's dastardly, just dastardly. It's dick dastardly. And at the top of most of those corporations, old white men. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. At the top of most of those corporations are old white men. And so at the end of the day, you're still making decisions and you're still doing things. Thank you for the biddies. And that's basically what Stacey Abrams said. I don't care about you coming out and denouncing it. And I feel like your movement to take your company out of Georgia is the wrong move because you're hurting the people that need it the most. But at the end of the day, put your money where your mouth is. I want to see what you're getting ready to do with your behavior, because your lips are saying one thing, but your heart is far from it. That's reality, y'all. And we have to deal with that. We got to deal with that. So that while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered is a continued conversation. I see both sides of the coin. I'm weighing in with where I am. I love you to weigh in wherever you are, and you don't have to agree with me. I just want you to look at the bigger picture and see it for what it is. We playing games, people. We're playing games. At the end of the day, I still believe the only way these corporations really understand and respond to us favorably, where they'll even give the people, we the people, the only way they'll give us a look is if we hit them where it counts. Boycott. Now, it's nice to hear that the Senate Parliamentarian Rules has ruled in favor of the Democratic reconciliation effort. So what we're doing here, the parliamentarian is basically saying, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, that they are allowing the Senate majority, the Democrats, to come forward with another package. And they're going to allow that now. It cannot deal with voting rights. It cannot deal with some other things, but they're actually looking toward putting forth some legislation that President Biden would like to set forth for children, as well as for more infrastructure, for taxing and things of that nature. So what that means is they still have not overcome the mountain of the filibuster, but they're going to allow that by allowing the idea from the parliamentarian that the rules will set forth, they can move forward with 51 instead of having to have the 60 on this additional package. And there may be 2 packages that come out of this as a result. 2 more packages that can come. Has said you can go ahead and move forward with that, and it does not have to go to the 60, meaning you got to get 10 Republicans to agree with you on these packages. We'll let it go for the 51, and I believe it's like Rule 302 or something that they looked at, analyzed. Now, this is the thing. These rules have apparently been in there the whole time. These parliamentarians and the power of the parliamentarian to say, yes, we can allow this, no, we can allow that. To me, that's a bunch of garbage, because everybody, the parliamentarian, now I know that's supposed to be a neutral position, the parliamentarian seems to always vote in favor of whichever party is in control. So in this instance, where we saw the parliamentarian saying, while we slumbered and slept and slobbered during the night, it was reported to me this morning, the rules have come out from the parliamentarian, we will let this go with the 51 and not the 60. I wish they'd stop the whole train of foolishness. Because at the end of the day, we saw the parliamentarian came out before Trump got out. The parliamentarian came out in favor of McConnell and them. The last time the parliamentarian spoke, that whole, going and listening to hear what the parliamentarian has to say, to me, that's for the birds. In this particular instance, at the end of the day, it was reported to me there's going to be at least another package and potentially 2 more packages that are going to come out that only require the 51 and not the 60. Now, what that still does not address, and it has nothing to do with the parliamentarian, but it goes back to the idea of the filibuster. What it does not address, we got Joe Manchin for sure and one other Democrat that is not going to hold party line, and they have come out overtly against the filibuster. As a matter of fact, if you remember, President Biden himself came out saying he was not for eliminating the filibuster. He would be agreeable, if you will, to potentially looking at amending the filibuster, but he's from the system. What do y'all think Joe's gonna say? He's from the system. The system needs to be totally revamped, but at the end of the day, he's from the system. Well, you've got Joe Manchin and I think a couple of others out there that are not holding party line. And to me, as y'all know, I say this all the time. My goal is not to be partisan. My goal is to be for the right. What is the right thing to do? I don't care if it was Republican. I don't care if it was Democrat. But the Republicans have created and devised and fine-tuned a filibuster that allows them to be obstructionists. And at the end of the day, that's how they use it, for obstructionism. Anything that comes out that they don't like and they don't want, they come out with the filibuster, right down to the idea that they've fine-tuned it to the point they don't even have to come and stand. It used to be you had to really do the filibuster, meaning you had to talk the whole time of the session and not allow somebody else the opportunity to get a word in edgewise. Good morning, Cassandra. Good to see you. Right is right, Cassandra, at the end of the day. So they designed it so they were so lazy they wouldn't even come and actually execute the filibuster. They then wrote into the system where all they had to do was threaten a filibuster, and that stopped and stalled the whole process, and it was over. So they have fine-tuned this thing so they can be obstructionists and obstruct anything that they don't want. They come out with the filibuster. Now, this has got to stop. So what Joe Biden is basically saying, he's for some adjustments to it. I'm of the opinion, because the filibuster was created out of slavery arguments. Filibuster is made out of the whole. Good morning, Bishop. That's my brother right there. Bishop Ronald B. Andrews is no finer brothers anywhere. He is the epitome of a good man. And right is right, Bishop. Right is right. The filibuster came out of the slave question during the Civil War, and they found ways to take the floor and cause it to be where you could not all down. Well, I'm like the police department and everything else that came out of and as a result of slavery. All of that needs to be revamped because it was created for the wrong reasons, so that they could hold and come on, just let's be truthful, let's be real, so they could hold on to this power of racism. When it came out, it was slavery that was the issue. All of this was created to keep people of what I want to say, aristocracy in power, people that had money, people that had status, people that they felt like they was all that in a bag of chips, but they were being outnumbered by other people, and their voices and their racist positions were no longer being upheld and heard. Then they came up with these dastardly, and I'm telling you, just dastardly means. And I'm like this, it needs to go. And I would say that to Joe. It needs to go. Joe Biden and Joe Manchin. I think Manchin's name is Joe too. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to spew any error on this show. But at the end of the day, it needs to go. The whole filibuster needs to go. And if you've ever seen a filibuster, for those that maybe have not, they'll read the newspaper, they'll read magazines, they'll read the telephone directory, they'll read and say anything just to take up time. How is that helping us conduct business for our country? How in the whole heaven is that helping us to conduct business for our country? You are showing without a shadow of a doubt, you're not speaking to the issue. You're not speaking to what's on the floor. Your whole purpose is obstruction. That's the whole full purpose of the filibuster is obstruction. We need it gone. So I'm not with Joe Biden in amending it. I'm not with Manchin and the others that are standing in the way, because at the end of the day, this continues to be a weapon. It's weaponized politics. That's all it is. It's weaponized politics. And I've said it over and over again. It is all day long gangster. This is gangster behavior. Just straight up gangster behavior. Listen, SK 8843, American apartheid, just like the former system in South Africa. And that's really what they have created, and then try to be slick Rick and call it something else and sell it off to us as democracy. It is not democracy. When you got minority rule or majority rule and it's only one power, that's one political side that's doing all the ruling, you do not have a democracy, America. Wake up and smell the coffee. Come on, no cream, no sugar. We take this coffee strong and black because we tell it like a T-I-Z-Tiz. If both parties, if both wings of the bird cannot flap, don't tell me you have a democratic system. You have an oligarchy. You got authoritarianism. You got anything but democracy. Don't play us a fool and think you're going to keep on with this foolishness and nobody is aware of what you're doing. We see you. Y'all put the eyeballs up there. Put the eyeballs up there in the chat. We see you. And we've had enough. Enough is enough, and too much is too much. So at the end of the day, we've got this whole process that's being challenged, and I hear it from both sides. I understand it, and I'm gonna say it once more and again. From my perspective, I think the biggest way that we're gonna defeat this giant and this Goliath, we're gonna have to keep talking, and we're gonna have to keep, thank you for the eyeballs, we're gonna have to keep telling them, we see you, we see you, we see you. We're gonna have to keep telling them, we're not gonna let you run away with this. We're not gonna allow you to continue in this dastardly system, because listen, the system is just dastardly. We're not gonna let you keep doing it. Yes, the Georgia peach has turned blue. The Georgia peach has turned blue. We're not going to be moved by your voter suppression and oppression of the people. We will not succumb. We shall stand, and we're going to talk, we're going to speak, and we're going to put our money. It's devilish. It's devilish, Cassandra. And at the, come on, you better, honey, let me come on down to Cassandra, because Cassandra is here for it this morning. That is devilish business, and we rebuke it. We rebuke it in the mighty and the matchless name. I'm gonna say it one more and again. It's devilish business, and we rebuke it in the mighty and the matchless name. Shame, shame. We can't have it. And you're right, SK, because the time has changed. It's a totally different hour. It's a totally different scenario. Come on, I know that's right. Cassandra is talking, honey. She's talking strong. That's the way I like my coffee. That's the way I love my coffee, Cassandra. Strong and black, because you're telling it like it T-I-Z-Tiz. And the church said amen. So that continues to go on. The parliamentarian has come out and said we can move forward, but I'm still saying the filibuster has got to go. Now, it's sad to report to you, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered. Oh my God. This story was just heart-wrenching. 6 family members in suburban Dallas dead. Now, sad to say, this story is just unbelievable. The people are shocked and stunned in the neighborhood because they said this was just the most beautiful family. But you had two brothers who made a suicide pact. Now, the suicide pact for the 2 brothers was one thing, but then they killed grandma, they killed the parents, they killed the twins in a suicide pact that grew from we're gonna kill ourselves to we're gonna assassinate and kill our whole entire family. So the police said they responded to a call that they were fearful that they had gone out, I believe, on the internet, and they had identified the plan to suicide, not knowing that they were also going to, at whatever point, determine and decide that they were going to take the rest of the family out too. So at the end of the day, when the police got there, to their shock and dismay, not only did they find the suicided victims, but they found these other innocent family members also slain by these individuals. Now, one thing that was identified was that, and the reason why I chose this story, and even the story about the woman that was let out of jail and within the hour went and shot the Asian little elderly lady down as she was walking her dog. All of these identified that the individuals were suffering with mental illness. And so I'm gonna come back to this point once more and again, particularly for the United States. We have got to do a better concerted effort about taking care and addressing mental illness. And listen, mental illness, to be mentally ill is not a disgrace. We've got to, I keep talking about it because I want this stigma gone. Because listen, there are preachers that are depressed. There are pastors that are depressed. There are apostles and prophets that are depressed. There are, and I bring that up because a lot of times we look to them as our helping professionals. There are psychiatrists that are depressed. Can I go there? There are people in the helping professions that are depressed. There are people that are devastated emotionally and traumatized. And I'm going to go back to what we so often say at the close of the show. But I feel to call it in right now, because at the end of the day, as my friend Rhonda Royal says, and no, the podcast is not over, but I feel like this is an appropriate conversation, an appropriate time to have this statement decreed and declared once more and again. If you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. I don't care who you are. And there is no shame. We've got to take the shame of mental illness away. It's just like, are you ashamed because you're diabetic? Are you ashamed because you have cancer? Are you ashamed because fill in the blank with any physiological disease, a physical disease? It does not matter. You're talking about mental health and wellness of your mind, wellness of your emotions, wellness of your psyche. There is nothing wrong if you are not well, as long as you're trying to get treatment. There's nothing wrong with it. There's no shame in it. We have got to release the stigma. And at the end of the day, we've got to help people move toward a place of healing. Because the reality is, and that's why I still have it up there, as Rhonda Royal says, and I say this closing out every podcast, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. I have to wonder, and this is not with any judgment toward the family at all. That is not at all where I'm going. But I have to wonder, did the family members realize that these individuals had mental health issues? Now, somebody and somebody's out there in the internet world, in internet land, identified, and I can't remember if it was the police or who, but it was identified that they had a history of known depression. And so I have to wonder at what point the family may have been aware or not. They may not have known at all. I don't know, because people can isolate and move away and disconnect and cut themselves off to the point where sometimes where are they at? I don't even know where my loved one is. I don't know their whereabouts. I don't know what's going on with them. It's a total disconnect, and I'm just clueless. At the point in time that, and I want to say even to our parents of children, coming out of 2020, there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of mental strain. 2020 and coming into 2021 has brought a lot that was buried deep down in there. It's brought a lot of that to the surface, y'all. So there are some people that are going to be, as we're coming out of sheltering at home, there are going to be a lot of people that are going to start having potentially erratic behaviors and other things because they're at the breaking point. They're just finally, unfortunately, at the breaking point, SK. And we got to stop that stigma. We've got to stop the stigma around mental health. Churches got to stop calling it a demon and a devil. I'll keep you in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on him, but your mind ain't stayed on Jesus. Lord, keep my mind stayed on Jesus. That's, listen, I'm not fighting y'all. Folks need medications when their body and their system is out of sync chemically. I'm gonna say it again, chemically. Folks need assistance emotionally. And if we're not doing anything but preaching pie in the sky by and by, and we're not dealing with people's emotional states and the traumas and the dramas that's going on in these individuals' worlds, then listen, what are we doing? What are we doing? You know, we have got to be real, and we've got to tell the truth and shame the devil about the need to have mental health activism within even the churches, within our communities, within our families. We've got to take the bull by the horns and begin to say there is no stigma attached to getting mentally healthy. There is no negativity about getting mentally healthy. I'm not going to put you under the gun and start making you feel like you're not spiritual enough. I'm not going to make you feel like you're disconnected from God and why can't you just tap in, and why can't you just pray and pray harder. There are people that are praying real hard that are going out here and committing some very, very violent acts against themselves and others because they needed more than a prayer. And I need the church to say amen to that, because I know I'm telling the truth. So we look at this whole entire family, grandparent, parents, twins, and the siblings in this suicide pact. And at the end of the day, we can't bring them back. We look at the little Asian woman, the little Asian sister that was mowed down walking her dog. And even in that instance, this woman that again was released from incarceration only because of COVID-19 outbreak and released back into society, and in less than an hour mows down this little woman who reportedly also suffered from mental illness. We have, and then even at that, if the mental illness and drug abuse. So if we're not going to deal with those root causes, and we're not going to really look at the idea, did the woman need to be incarcerated even, or did she need to be institutionalized someplace where she could get some mental and emotional help for whatever was at the core of her problem? We've got to, again, take another look. And by all means, I'm definitely advocating. I do not want to continue to see the police having interaction with mentally ill people. They're not equipped. They're not trained. I don't care how you put them through your little continuing education hours. Even as the brother said for George Floyd, who said that the whole even de-escalation, we're not even talking about mental illness. We're just talking about de-escalation, was a whole whopping 1 week session. Well, if you are in a predominantly volatile neighborhood, as you want to call it, I disagree with that assessment. That's what you want to call it. Then you need more than 40 hours of training, sir. You need more than 40 hours of training, ma'am. You need more intensified training. And at the end of the day, where it comes to mental health, you are not mental health professionals. I really do not want to see you continuing to interact with the mentally ill when you are not trained. So again, I'm gonna say it one more time. We've got to have a different perspective on mental illness and stop demonizing people. Stop making them less than full of faith. Stop making them out of relationship with God, because honey, he promised he keep your mind in perfect peace if you keep your mind stayed on. Listen, there are some folks that are struggling to keep their minds, period, much less stayed on him. Did I say something? I don't care if you like it or not. I take this coffee with no cream, no sugar. I take it strong and black because I tell it like it T-I-Z tis. So at the end of the day, don't keep telling folks to keep their mind on Jesus when they're struggling just to keep their mind. Cassandra, oh, how all this devilish deeds, thoughts, and actions are affecting families. Families are truly, now you're right about that. At the end of the day, and when you deal with that whole element of mental illness and somebody that has deemed the scenario hopeless and helpless, and at the end of the day, they're looking and feeling like there's nothing that they can do, and why this world is horrible. Understand, even for parents that they decide they're gonna harm themselves and kill their children too, that idea, I can't continue on in this ugly world any longer, and I don't want my child to grow up in this ugly world any longer. Well, what's the next process in that thinking? Take us all out so we don't have to suffer. So at the end of the day, once more and again, my plea is out there for the mental health issue, because baby, it ain't gone nowhere. 6 folks have lost their lives. I'm gonna close with this and then we're gonna shift gears. The new statistic for COVID is young people. Are we surprised? So they had an article of a man. He was going the following day to get his vaccine and to be vaccinated. And his 19-year-old son comes into the house and brings COVID. Now, comes in with a totally different strain. And this man who is getting his vaccine tomorrow, he said that's the worst. He is hospitalized. And as he was giving his interview, he said this is the worst experience he has ever had. He feel like he's been run over, beat up, you name it, all that put together. This COVID has whooped his tail. And his wife, who was vaccinated, also got COVID. She was fully vaccinated, but this was a totally different strain. So we got 19-year-old son out here wandering about, brings it back to mama and daddy, and mama and daddy. Now, the wife, however, is not hospitalized. She did get sick, and she did test positive with this new strain. It was one of the variants that's out there. And so she did get sick, but she did not need hospitalization. The husband and the father, on the other hand, he's tore up from the floor up and fighting for his life and trying to get the word out here to these young people. COVID is still out there and it's on the rise, and people are fighting for their lives. This man said he's made it through a whole year not catching COVID and got right up to the day before vaccination, only to have his 19-year-old son come in the house and infect he and his wife. So we need to get the word out. Continue to get your vaccines, but at the same time, even for those that are vaccinated, I mean, who would have thought, Rebel? As he said, I made it all the way to the day before, and he said really, he was looking forward to it, but he just kept feeling sicker and sicker and sicker till he finally had to take himself on to the hospital. Lo and behold, only to find out that he has one of the variants. And as they're saying, that these new variants are much more aerosol and easily catchable. So I want us to, well, it's all aerosol, but much more virulent. And so they really want you to pay attention and be aware. Please be aware that it's still out here, y'all. The race isn't over. And like this brother that's still fighting and struggling for his life, we need these young folks to sit down, and please mask up. Now, I want to close with this today, and then we're going to use this to segue over into our topic of conversation for our empowerment zone. Now listen to everybody that watched Versus. Give me a 1 if you actually watched Versus between Earth, Wind, and Fire. If you watched Versus, I want you to give me a 1. If you didn't watch Versus, give me a 2. So listen. This is where Versus has been beautiful. Versus, and I heard Royal Confessions, if she's out there, she said she just thought it was absolutely marvelous. The best Versus out there. Ooh, Rebel Inc. got many ones. Versus. Now this is where I want y'all, because it's gonna lead me into my next topic. Between the eyes, oh, you missed it. SK, they said it was on and popping. They said it was on and popping. The people absolutely positively loved it. The Isley brothers. Now, did y'all think Ron Isley had a filter on? They had a picture circulating of Ron Isley that looked like he may have had a filter, kind of like what Jackie Chisholm had the other day. So maybe that's the new normal for all of us 60 and older. Maybe you just put a filter on it. But nonetheless, they were talking about, honey, he was looking fine. Cassandra, you missed it too. Teresa, you missed. They said it was off the chain. I missed it too. It was playing in my household, but I was on a phone call, so I didn't get to actually pay attention to it. But listen, they said it was fabulous. BT, y'all go out there and find it, because they said it was the thing. It was the jams. However, I think Versus has been beautiful in bringing collaboration, and that's my word of the day. That's what I want to segue to, but I wanted to use this for collaboration. Now, this is the thing. The buzz that is abroad and beyond is that Steve Harvey ruined it because he wouldn't shut up. They said diarrhea of the lips got a hold of Steve Harvey. Now, they said they think he was just excited. They think he was just thrilled about being asked to come into this collab and be the person that hosted. But they said Earth, Wind, and EWF sang 20 songs. The Isley brothers sang 20 songs, and Steve Harvey told 30 stories. Now, I wasn't there, so I didn't see it. But they said Steve ruined what would have been an absolutely perfect Versus. Now, it looks like the Rebel Inc., you look like you were the only one that actually saw it that's in my chat this morning. So you tell me, sis, did Steve Harvey jack it up? That's all I want to know. Did Steve take it down the drain? They said Steve got so excited. He was so thrilled. And baby, right on down to the root. Almost all of your black media, almost all of them, honey, they are giving Steve Harvey what for. They said, Steve, shut up. And then some of them said it with expletives in there. Some of them had some expletives in there that I will not use. He was beside himself. They said, listen, we could have enjoyed 10 more songs from Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Isley brothers if Steve had shut up. Steve had diarrhea. His tongue, his teeth, his lips, that mustache, that hat, it was all on open display. They said if he had told one more story about the Steve Harvey show, they said sick of it. Baby, when I read that this morning, while we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, I hollered. They said that Joker was so excited and beside himself, he could not shut up. So at the end of the day, they are like, we got to go back and get an edited version, and please take Steve out. Now, poor Steve, I just wonder what his little heart, y'all. I think when Steve woke up this morning and he read The Root and he wrote, listen, all the black periodicals and all the black media was on him like ugly on a ape. they are just unforgiving and they are relentless. They said, listen, don't y'all ask Steve to MC and host not another further. Don't go another further with Steve Harvey. His hosting, his spidey senses were off. You know, normally Steve can come in and host and the people just love him and they just eat up whatever Steve says. He can give counseling advice to women. He can give counseling advice to folk in dating relationships and marriages. He can give advice to, you know, he announced Jesus. Y'all remember that? He gave the announcement, and if he was announcing Jesus on his return, he went to church and did a whole comedy routine at church at a convention, and he announced Jesus. Nobody else can do what Steve Harvey can do, but Steve Harvey could not shut up. And the folks said, we don't want him back. And as I said about 45, we don't want you back. We don't want you back. Yes, Cassandra, they said Steve got to go. Listen, Arthur Ryder, anything else, racism, apartheid, Steve Harvey, you got to go. Because you talk too much. Well, at the end of the day, it was a beautiful collab. It was a beautiful collaboration between Earth, Wind, and Fire. It was a beautiful collaboration between them and the Isley brothers. And Steve was the fly in the ointment, obviously. And the Rebel Inc. is the only one that saw it. She just said she was kind. She said he was beside himself. But at the end of the day, I didn't get the negativity from her. Rebel, you being kind, because if you go out there in them Twitch streets and you go out there in social media, they have given Steve 2 black eyes, busted his lip open, knocked them teeth out, got his mustache is sitting sideways, and they done beat that boy so bad his hair's grown back. Steve Harvey, please be quiet. You saw it, honey. Listen, you saw it real time. Them folks are mad at Steve Harvey for ruining what would have been an otherwise perfect collaboration. That brings me to my word of the day, y'all. And I just wanted to do that. Y'all know I have to have some levity and some humor in my stuff. I just can't go straight through with all the negativity without a little humor and a little laugh in there. Cause y'all know how I roll. And yes, I got a vision of a version. Royal Confessions, you out there. Now you know, now tell the truth and shame the devil. Did Steve create a fly in the ointment for this otherwise perfect verses? Was he the weakest link? You are the weakest link. Goodbye. Now, Royal Confessions, just tell me, do. Give me a 1. Was he the weakest link? Or 2, was he okay? Now let me know, because I believe you gonna confess. Royal Confessions, I believe you gonna confess the truth. To me. So all eyes are on you right now, Royal Confessions. Give me a 1. Does Steve need to go? Give me a 2. Was Steve okay? I done put you on the spotlight, girlfriend. You tell me. Because at the end of the day, they said Steve jacked it up. Now, my word for the day is collaboration, and I'm gonna say this for my empire. Okay, Royal Confessions, I won't literally put you on the box y'all know what I'm trying to say. I won't put you on the spot. There, I had to think and get that word back. Steve wants to be the he wants to be the 4th element. Earth, Wind, Fire, and Water. He was the water that doused the fire and put it out. Y'all ain't got no sense. He was the water that put the fire out. At the end of the day, he wants to be that fourth. Then y'all know, y'all got me cracking up. Y'all got me cracking up. That's why I talk to y'all. That's why I have Yes You O Cube. And that O Cube stands for one-on-one, just me and you. Because we get stuff like that. Steve wants to be the fourth element. Earth, wind, fire, and water. Ooh, y'all got take me to the water. And the people said, no, we don't want to be baptized. We want you to shut up. Shut up. Steve, please shut up. Now, my word for today, and see, he just wanted to collaborate, y'all. He wanted to collab. That's my word of the day. Steve just wanted to collab, y'all. Collaboration is the word for the season. Now, the reason why I chose this word, and this was really my word of the day for Friday, but I didn't quite get to it. Because, you know, we had so many things to talk about and so many things that we addressed, and conversation just got really, really heavy. So I didn't get to my word of the day. So I just held it over till today's conversation and topic, because this is the season of collaboration. This is the season of collaboration. So verses was a perfect segue for me today. While we slumbered, slept, and slobbered, they told Steve to shut up. But Earth, Wind, and Fire and the Isley Brothers were collabing. And I think the whole idea, and people are saying this is the best verses that's been out there. And the thing that I like about verses is it is basically saying, let's do a collaboration. For those that are not familiar with verses and what it's all about, they've had artists, and this came out and became big during the pandemic. We were sheltered in at home. We couldn't go anywhere. They say, hey, let's do this. Let's get people from different camps and pull them together, get these artists and do a collaboration together, and let's entertain the people while we're enjoying ourselves and giving us an opportunity to get back out there, because we've been shut down. We haven't been able to do any of our gigs. We haven't been able to do any of our shows. We haven't been able to entertain the people, which is what we love to do. So let's do a collab. Let's do this thing called Verses. And they started bringing people in, and they kind of like, you bring your stuff, I bring my stuff. Let's put it together and let's bless the people. I mean, that's really what Verses is. So again, for those that are signing in and co-signing that the Isley Brothers and Earth, Wind, and Fire is the best, that many are saying the best verses that they've seen, we're looking at a collaboration. Now, before this even happened, collaboration was my word of the day last Friday. So this word, it's just what we see they were saying as a result, as the pandemic is hopefully coming to an end, even though we do have some increase in certain areas. The idea, one of the business journals was writing about collaboration, and I wanted to pull this in because I want us to be aware of the trends and where we're going, and it just makes sense. It's the day and the time. Collaboration is really what Jasamis is about. Pull the villages together and let all of the villages together make a difference in the world. The idea that we are stronger and we're better together than we all are separated off individually in our own little space trying to do what we do. But we saw collaboration start to come into play when Kentucky Fried Chicken, or no, it's KFC. It's technically and legally KFC. Kentucky Fried Chicken is gone. KFC said, okay, let's collab with Taco Bell. And instead of me just putting chicken out the door, let's put some Taco Bell out the door too. Because instead of seeing our one another as arch rivals and arch enemies, doesn't it make better sense if we do a collab than if we join together and everybody pull together, POOL and PULL together? Won't we be stronger if we pull and pull together than everybody being their own little separate stream away and apart from each other and looking at each other as arch rivals? So I watched Patty and Gladys. I thought it was great. They didn't know the words to their own song. Now let me tell you, Gladys knew the words to her song on that verses. Patty was like, y'all put them words up on that screen. Y'all know I don't know these But they did a great show. And as a matter of fact, their verses, I think they sat and chatted and talked and reminisced about old times more than they sang. Didn't matter. You love the idea and the opportunity to see people come together and collaborate and appreciate what each brings to the table in their strengths and applies one another in what they do. That is the world that I believe that we are moving toward. That is the world that I think is a win-win. That is a world where I think we can stop the divisiveness and all of the negativity that we've experienced down through centuries now, centuries old division and separatism. And I'm trying to get mine for me and mine, but I could care less about you and yours. Those days are over. The ideas are revolving around collaboration. So the Business Journal, no, it wasn't the Business Journal. Anyway, one of those business periodicals came out with the idea that when we stop sheltering at home, what we're going to see is, instead of individuals going to the office, to a desk, to an individual cubicle, to their individual space, people will now get rid of the individual desk concept, and they're going to have the large desk where people come together to collaborate. And their purpose for coming in to the office is going to be for the perfection of collaboration, not because I have a desk and I have a cubicle and I'm working in my space, because the pandemic has shown we can do that at home. I don't need to go to the office to do that. Yes, Cassandra, collaboration will help all nations, people, and communities. Let's collaborate because we each need each other. And that is so true. That is the concept that I really, really want us to grab a hold of. And as the business and the community of money is realizing we're better if we collaborate, I want you to understand, even if you're looking at in the financial arena, they're starting to collaborate because they start realizing we're better together, and we can, by pooling, P-U-L-L, and pooling, P-O-O-L, we can do more together in that way than continuing to fight each other as arch rivals or see each other as arch rivals. You bring to the table, I bring to the table. Let's talk about it, hash it out. And as we begin to look at it, again, we always talk about the 3 areas that we are constantly promoting when we talk about bringing change. We got to be transparent. Everybody has to be transparent with one another. Let's be for real about what's going on here. Let's be for real about the strengths. Let's be for real about the weaknesses. Let's be for real about the things that need to change. Let's be for real about the things that can stay the same, because we're not necessarily saying throw the baby out with the bathwater. We're just basically saying let's do an inspection. And let's talk about what's really going on. Inspect it. And I've got to inspect and see, does it work? And if it's not working, do something different. So I want to say, whether it's ministries and churches, because I'm going to tell you what, churches are going to, them big old massive buildings that a whole lot of these mega churches done went out here and built, they gonna need to collaborate, because at this point, some of them folk that y'all had before the pandemic, they're not coming back. I'm gonna continue in the brick and mortar of the 4 walls of the building, and some of y'all have to, because you got to pay that mortgage. Y'all built in the real estate market. People are not necessarily running out right now and buying mega buildings because it's just not conducive at this point in time. So some are saying, how are we going to survive? Some of y'all gonna have to collab. Some of y'all gonna have to collaborate. Some of y'all gonna need to come together, because it didn't need to be a church on every corner anyway. I recognize that. I understand that fully. But at the end of the day, if you're still trying to pull that off, some of y'all gonna have to come to the model that's gonna be the model of 2021 and beyond. You're going to need to collaborate. I'm looking at many different businesses. I'm looking at all kinds of neighborhood organizations, and all of us coming to an idea just like Jasamis. How can we pull people together and collab? Now, I would say even prior to the pandemic, if we had started in this forward movement even before the pandemic, I believe many of us would have been stronger during the pandemic to only come out even stronger after the pandemic. But for whatever reason, everybody has been me, myself, and I and mine, us for no more. Even during the pandemic, and I've mentioned this before and I'm gonna mention it again, there's a local pastor here in my community that went above and beyond to get vaccines in the arm. And as a matter of fact, it's where I got my vaccine. And I've had interaction with him, and we were doing a collab in that I was using his space that he had. And I'm telling him, Pastor, I appreciate you, because this is a blessing for me. Because hey, situations, and he was appreciating me, because he was like, hey, I need you and I appreciate you. So that collaboration, as he got access, he had the National Guard, he had vaccines and vaccines and vaccines. He had all of this available and ready. He went out to the other pastors, and my understanding from talking to staff was that he could not get the other pastors to collab. Because everybody wants to rise and shine. Everybody wants to be in the limelight. Everybody wants their 15 minutes of fame. And at the end of the day, we just trying to get vaccine into people's arms. And then when I look at it, these other pastors and these other churches, they don't have a vaccine to offer. They didn't have anything to give to the people, but they refused to go with somebody that already had it in motion, because who's going to get the credit? Does it matter? Collaborate. Collaborate. And right here, I want to pay homage. Thank you for liking the stream. Right here, I want to pay homage. Sister May, I love you, my friend. I want to pay homage to the late pastor of one of the most powerful ministries here in the city, because this brother was a mover and a shaker, the Reverend Wallace S. Hartsfield, who I believe for this community and this area was a leader of collaboration. He was a leader in collaboration, and he was a leader that went everywhere. Listen, Cassandra, united we stand, divided we fall, and Lord have mercy on us all. I'm trying to tell you, you spoke a mouthful, because I'm telling you, and so while we were having this conversation, and I mean, this pastor was literally begging, and the pastors, I mean, we're talking about too trifling, and to me, I almost want to use the word hateful, because whether it ain't even about liking each other. And I'm not saying the pastors didn't like the pastor, but I'm saying, even if you didn't like the person, if he's got a lifeline to give to your people, why wouldn't you take it? Why wouldn't you promote it? We couldn't even get the people to announce it, because it ain't me, it ain't mine, and I'm trying to do something on myself with my, but your stuff never came to fruition. Your stuff never manifested. Your stuff never came to pass, but you couldn't support somebody that already had it. As a matter of fact, if somebody already has it, why are you chasing and trying to make it your thing, when somebody that you could easily support, that you could easily bring other people to the table, why wouldn't you send those people to that other person's congregation instead of trying to be the person to get in the limelight? We have people that don't do it, but I want to let you guys in, just like we see the Business Insider, that's who it was, Business Insider coming out and saying this is the move of big business and corporations in the next move. The movement is collaboration, because that's what's going to allow the ball to continue rolling. You're going to have collaboration. And even coming out of something as traumatic as the pandemic, you out there trying to toot your own horn in your own little space by yourself, me, myself, and I and mine, and y'all over here with whoever you have in support. I need to eat, y'all. So you out here trying to do whatever you trying to do over here, and you refuse to collaborate with others. At the end of the day, you just gonna be paddling upstream in your little canoe while everybody else is flowing and going. I want you to hear me when I say collaboration is the role and the space and the place that I want you all to get. Come on, wake up, come on out, let's collaborate and move about. I this weekend, as a matter of fact, I was looking and seeing who's doing what and what's going on in the city. And there is a group here organized, a group that is out, and they're speaking and talking about the homicide that's going on and that rate in the city. And so I joined. It's not, yeah, because listen, it's about collaboration. If you're already doing this, nobody needs to recreate and reinvent the wheel. If you're already doing this, let me join what you're doing, because I stand against all the homicide in the city too. How can I help? How can I roll up my sleeves, and how can I help? Because at the end of the day, it's about collaboration. As I told that pastor, he's got a food pantry that serves the community every week. I said, listen, Pastor, I said, what you need for volunteers? We always need volunteers. I'm there. I may not be there every week, but for what purpose and what time I can give, I'm there, because the idea, how can I help you in your endeavor? But I'm not in it. As far as being an organizer, my name isn't on it. Who cares? They may never know who I am, and they don't have to come and say, Pastor Stillman did da 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 da. I'm not there as Pastor Stillman. I'm there as a concerned Joe Blow citizen that understands the community needs food. The community is passing out food. Let me help, because I'm for that. I don't want to see anybody starving. I don't want to see anybody hungry. I don't want to see anybody without. So guess what? I'm on board. Take my name down. Call me when you need a volunteer. And then not only that, I'm gonna call you. You don't have to just call me. I'm gonna call you if I have time and availability, and I'm gonna say, do you need me today? I'm available. Because at the end of the day, if I'm really serious about helping, and I'm really serious about the collaboration, and he looked really stunned at me, and he said, would you really do that, Pastor? Absolutely. Why wouldn't I do it? You explain to me why I wouldn't do it. Explain to me why I wouldn't do it. Y'all hear me get on this platform every Tuesday through Friday, and I say all this stuff that I say. Why wouldn't I, if I'm not just blowing hot air, why wouldn't I want to go out and contribute my time to help pass out some food? And you need volunteers, and my hands are idle, I'm there. Why wouldn't I, if I care and I'm genuinely concerned about the homicide rate? And we in our area have had some of the highest homicide rate in the country. Unbelievable. And unfortunately, that includes little kids. If I really care, why wouldn't I band together with your organization? I don't need to start another organization. As a matter of fact, the organization that I head up, how can we intertwine and come into collaboration with your organization? How can we provide resources? How can we provide hands? How can we provide feet? How can we provide people to think, or connections? How can we provide what you may be lacking that we can bring to the table? And let's do this as a collaboration. I really, really feel like that is, by all means, the direction that we must take. And if the corporate arena has already figured it out, then I think, listen, it was what we needed a long time ago. It's just that circumstances and situations have finally brought us to a point where we can't get around it. And I want you to prepare yourself, people. Care, be there, collaborate, and share. Come on with that, Cassandra. Care, be there, collaborate, and share. That's what we have got to do. Now, we can talk all day long about what we want to see, and that's why I always close out. Don't just talk about change, but be the change. If you really want to see something different, then I need you to get up off of your seat and do something. If you can't get up, you say, well, I can't do it. I can't walk. I can't this. Your telephone, let your fingers do the walking. And as a matter of fact, in these days and time, you can video conference. Let your video do the whatever means you have available to you. Find somebody and find some place where you can be a part of a collaboration. Bring what you have to the table and bring somebody else to the table. Sit down and do a collab. That's what I feel like we really, really need to push in these days and times. Listen, if you understand the plight of mental wellness and the lack of mental wellness in our cities, then you can bring the knowledge and the expertise that you have, collaborate with some of these community organizations, some of these communities that are in the thick of it. some of these communities that are a barrage of maybe the real issue in that community, in the violence and whatnot, maybe at the root of that is really we have not dealt effectively with mental health and mental wealth, and coming into a place of saying, okay, let's have some collaboration here, and really maybe we need to collaborate with the mental health professionals instead of continuing to go down there and talk to the police station. Maybe we really need to collaborate over here instead of collaborating over there, and then figure out from collaborating over here with the mental health professionals then how we can backtrack to go back to those that are in law enforcement. And when we've come up with a collaborative idea that potentially works, then let's take that back to the police and law enforcement and then marry those two together so we can change what's happening in our neighborhood. We have got to take a different approach and a different mindset. Yes, it's time to change, collaborate, and participate. And I cannot say this enough, why I called this podcast Yes You, because I'm not just out here talking to willy-nilly anybody out there to them over there. I'm talking to you. Yes, you. If you listen to me and if you are enjoying what I'm saying on a daily and sharing, I appreciate you. But really, whether I appreciate you, but I'm going to really hope that the biggest takeaway that you're getting is to get up and participate. Yes, you, not your brother, not your sister, but it's me, oh Lord. I want you to have that mentality. Yes, you. How can I? Because babies, you have something to contribute. I've got a sibling that is an absolute genius and phenom in child education with young children. She's absolutely phenomenal. We need that knowledge in the neighborhood. And I could just start going down the line, and I could name one by one and name by name. I got some sisters that are just so powerful, it's off the hooks. All that they have, the knowledge, the wealth of information, the technical information. I mean, everything that you want and are looking for and desirous of, they've got it. We gotta have collaboration when we start looking at all of the stuff that's going on in our community. And we need to hook up with the young folks, because the wealth of knowledge that some of you older, seasoned golden girls and king's men, that information and knowledge that y'all have, we got to get it to our young people so that they can know. Listen, if you don't know your past, you're destined to repeat it. We got to get the information, the knowledge, the wherewithal in their hands and in their heads so that they can be effective. But it's got to be a collaboration. I need the old and the young to come together. I need all ethnicities to come together. I need all faith traditions. Y'all ain't ready for me. I need all faith traditions for everybody come out from among them and be ye separate. I need all faith traditions to come together. Y'all ain't buying what I'm selling. I need a collaboration on a widespread angle so that we can be the change that we want to see. It's time to make that change. We are the people who can do it. The Winan said it years ago, and I want you to understand how we make the change is by coming together and collaboration. I'm ready to see all of this come to pass. I'm ready to see all of it happen. Come on, let's go, SK. Let's go. Supermen, superwomen. We got it all. We got Wonder Woman. I just watched that last night. I watched the Allegiance. I watched them all, and I saw Wonder Woman. I saw Superman. I saw Batman. I saw Aquaman. And they had that idea. The only way we're going to combat this evil of Darksider is that we're going to have to come. And I really wasn't trying to go there, but listen, it just popped up in my shondo. Yes, it did. It popped up in my shondo. They knew that they were going to have to get the league together if they were going to take Darksider out. The only way was to unite all of their powers together. And they even went so far back to reincarnate Superman. Superman was dead. They figured out a way to bring him back, baby. They figured out a way to bring him back. Listen, We gotta, Cassandra, we gotta speak it. We gotta teach it. We gotta reach it. By all means, we gotta do it, sis. We gotta do it. Come on, Gloria. We gotta figure out the only way we're gonna defeat this dark evil is that all of us are gonna have to unite together. And when they united together, the force that it seemed like they were not gonna be able to stop, the force they were not going to be able to shut down, the force that was getting ready to take over the world. And this was part of Batman's dilemma. And yeah, if for those, I hope this isn't a spoiler alert for those of you all that haven't seen it, but I'm just trying to tell you how it went down. He had the biggest challenge in getting each of the superpowers to agree to come together. That is one of the themes. Thank you so much for liking the stream, Gloria. That is one of the streams, one of the ideas and themes, that we see resoundingly in the movie. He has to move hell and high water. He has to go through hell and high water to get the superpowers just to agree to come together. And that's the stage and the phase that we might be in right now. We got to move and go through hell and high water to get all of my super friends, because all of y'all are my super friends. Every last one of you have a superpower. Every last one of you have something that God put in you that only you can do. Every last one of you have a divine assignment that is your assignment. Every last one of you has greatness in you. Now, the biggest thing I have, as Batman had in that saga, was to get the super friends to agree to come together. And that's where I am today. I'm trying to tell y'all it's time to collaborate. It's time to pull, P-O-O-L and P-U-L-L. It's time for us to pull all of our resources together, because it's time to make that change. And we are the people who can do it. And so this, I'm going to say this, and folks may get mad at me. Thank you for the biddies, SK8843. People may get mad at me, but I'm going to call a spade, because I'm going to tell you, when I talk to the pastor, and when and now mind you, pastor is not the one that told me about the difficulty. It was the workers. When I came, they began, because they identified with me, because they knew I was involved with pastor, because I had been utilizing his facility. If this man got a beautiful facility, ain't no point me going out and doing my own thing. I might as well support him in what he's doing. He was appreciative of me. I was appreciative to him, and I had a beautiful facility. Win-win. So when they saw me there, the workers began to share with me how hard he had pulled and worked and talked and could not pull the people together. I don't know if we'll ever have another Wallace Ed's Hartsfield. That man pulled us together, but somebody has to rise to pull the people together. But I'm gonna tell you what I walked away feeling and thinking. To all of those pastors, and we see them, they always want them photo ops. They always want to be on the news. They always want to be on TV. They always want to be here, there, and everywhere. But we couldn't get you to cooperate and collaborate with somebody else. Well, my thing on that shows me, when people show you who they are, believe them. Because at the end of the day, come on, SK, get that coffee cup. At the end of the day, if it's only about you and yours, and when you get that photo opportunity, goodbye. You are the weakest link. Because your 15 minutes being more important than servicing the people's needs means nothing to me. It means nothing to me. Because listen, and that's one thing I will say about Reverend Wallace S. Hartsfield, and I knew him, and I knew him out in the community before I knew him at his local church. This man was active and he embraced everybody. But at the end of the day, his goal was not personal fame. His goal was that genuinely, this was what his heart was about. This is genuinely what his heart was about. I witnessed a situation where it was a youth program going on and nobody else was there, but Reverend Hartsfield showed up. And Reverend Hartsfield took those individuals that were participating in that youth program and personally took them in under his wing, personally talked to them like he had a church full of people, personally poured into them, hugged them, embraced them, took pictures with him, because it wasn't about the people. The man genuinely cared, and I can tell what I witnessed with my own eyes. That's what I saw with my own eyes. Good morning, Doglegs. Good to have you. So at the end of the day, we're talking about collaboration today, Doglegs. At the end of the day, and I appreciate, these are streamers, by the way. Doglegs, her son, they stream from other streams. But why? Because they're collaborating. They're coming in and saying, listen, spiritual thought leader, we want to support you. We want to undergird you. We want to see Shelby Nicole Cosplay, another streamer. Thank you for coming in. Come on, give my shout outs out there. Because this is how we collaborate. It's not just me, myself, and I. But when we understand we're stronger together, and if I can help you to make it to your goal, and it's not just all about what am I going to get out of it and what's in it for me. Listen, it's about if I can push you up over the top, it's your time and it's your season. If I can help push you over the top, and better yet, if we can help push one another, if we can actually come to a place where it's not about, is my name going to be in lights and am I going to get my props and my shine? It's really about how can we make sure we all become successful, make sure that we all reach the goal, and that collaboration, the collaborative effort of pushing. So listen, Shelby Nicole Cosplay, girl, I'm in your corner. I'm in your corner. Doglegs, I'm in your corner. I'm in your son's corner. The Rebel Inc., I'm in your corner. Listen, King Coogee, I'm in your corner, because at the end of the day, and everybody that's listening to me, yes, you, I'm in your corner, because again, the season right now is collaboration. I'm telling you. And you might say, what does KFC got to do with Taco Bell? That's two totally different menus. Well, you know what they did by two totally different menus. Now for folk that want some Taco Bell, for folks that want a Mexican food today, I can go to Taco Bell and get some Mexican food. And then my sister sitting next to me in the car might want some chicken. So we don't have to go to two locations. One location is better off because two collaborative businesses are in that one location. Let's do this. Let's get some choice. Let's collaborate. Let's pull people in and say, listen, you're not my nemesis. You're not my number one arch rival. If we pull together like Versus, if we pull together like Earth, Wind, and Fire, that's my flavor and that's my sound. Then we pull in the Isley Brothers. That's my flavor and that's my sound. And we give you all an opportunity to hear both Earth, Wind, and Fire sound as well as the Isley Brothers sound. If Steve Harvey would only shut up, Jesus. If Steve Harvey would only shut up. Good morning, Mike City. I want you to give a shout out to Mike City. If Steve Harvey would only shut up, this collaboration would be beautiful. Was it happy birthday, Mike? Happy belated birthday to Mike City. I love you. I got something for you. I got to get over to your channel and drop a little something over there in that Cash App, Venmo, or whatever it is. Happy birthday to you. Yes, Monica, if Steve Harvey had just shut up, the collaboration would have been perfect. The collaboration would have been beautiful. But I'm telling you, it was reported to me, Shelby. It was reported to me. The black media is coming out saying it would have been absolutely perfect if Steve Harvey had only shut up. It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. So at the end of the day, y'all, I'm coming to the end. Yes, I had to put it. They listen, Mike City. The one article said Earth, Wind, and Fire sang, EWF sang 20 songs. They said the Isley Brothers sang 20 songs, and Steve Harvey told 40 stories. They could have got in some more songs if Steve had only shut up. Y'all kept saying it too. Y'all kept telling them to shut up. Collaboration. And I'm going to stay here this week because we've got to figure out ways to become activated and supportive of one another. We are not arch rivals. We are not looking at each other as nemesis. We are not my church against your church and who's going to have the biggest church and who's going to have the biggest members and membership and who. Listen, those days are over. Do you hear me? Those days are Steve hummed a few. Did he try to sing? Don't tell me he tried to sing Rebel. Don't tell me he tried to sing. No. Mike, Royal Confession said Steve Harvey wanted to be the fourth element. You had earth, wind, and fire, and he was water. Yes, if he tried to hum a few bars, I guess he really tried to get in on it. Y'all ain't ready. Y'all ain't right. Y'all, listen, y'all done brought righteous and ratchet over here. Y'all done brought righteous and ratchet over here to spiritual thought leader. He just need to let the actual people sing. Yes, SK. I'm going to say that and I'm going to close out because I'm getting ready to start acting silly. We are village building. That's the whole concept behind the psalmist. I can't say it enough. The idea that villages, what you have in your village, I'm not trying to bust your village. I'm not trying to tear your village down. I'm saying when I bring my villagers over to your village, what can we do together? And at the end of the day, we're all lions and you're going to hear us roar. We're all lions and you're going to hear us roar. And even though your village may be over here and my village is over there, we can still come together and collaborate. And we will be that much the stronger when we understand the power of collaboration. The power of collaboration. We've got to be active. We've got to participate and dominate as we collaborate. Listen, Cassandra, you listen. You better preach and teach up in here this morning. Cassandra Isaiah has been dropping bombs. Y'all hear me? She just been dropping bombs over here. We've got to be active. We've got to participate and dominate as we collaborate. You better come on with that. You better come on with that. And that's what we are advocating in this day and time for the good of all. Not so that one can be greedy. This is the time of being greedy is over. We want everybody to eat. We want everybody to eat. We want everybody to make it. We want everybody to be successful. And as we collaborate one with another, I know we can make this thing a reality. We can make this thing a reality. So we're going to be dealing and identifying collaboration on this week. I appreciate we can all eat. There's enough food out there, Mike. There's enough abundance. There's enough out there. We can all eat. Nobody needs to starve. Nobody needs to be hungry. Nobody needs to go without. And this is the day and time when we're saying the season and the years and centuries of just a few folk eating and everybody else starving. We're done with that. We're done with that. We are done with that. I love you guys. Oh yeah, I want to collaborate too. I want to collaborate with everybody in here. Y'all are just so powerful and so awesome. I love you. I love you. I love you. Well, I'm going to get on up out of here because my engineer is going to come on here in just a second and tell me I'm over my tape. Oh, thank you. We're going to do it. We're going to do it. And I appreciate you, Dog Lex. I really, really do. You my girl. I appreciate you. And I see you getting your shout on, your praise on, and everything else on over there in the Rebel Inc. And I love you for it. I appreciate y'all so much. Listen. I love everybody. I appreciate you coming into the chat. For those that are out there that didn't join the chat, but you are listening out there, I want you to know I appreciate you as well, just auditing and listening to the dialogue. Thank you so much for coming on this beautiful Tuesday, and we getting ready to get on up out of here. Well, I feel for my brother, and thank you for the biddies, Monica. I feel for my sister. I feel that it's time for us to collaborate. I feel like it's time for us to come together as one and make a difference in this world. I feel like it's time for us to come together as one and be successful. I feel like it's time for us to come together and rise together. I feel like it's time for us to collaborate and do this thing like we've never seen it done before. Well, you know how I do. This is your spiritual thought leader, Regina L. Stillman, and I want to invite you to check me out. You can find me Follow me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Patreon, Twitter, Twitch, and more. Anchor, Discord. I'm out there, y'all. I'm out there. Come on and follow me. Now, as my friend, and I've already mentioned it today, as my friend Rhonda World says, if you don't deal with it, it will deal with you. And that's not the way we roll. We handle our business over here. We take our coffee, no cream, no sugar. We take it strong and black because we deal with it as it T-I-Z-Tis. We always say, be the change. Don't just talk about change, but be the change. And as always, it's us, you, me, we all. Let's do this thing together. Let's collaborate because it's your season. It's our time. Let's do this. I love you. I love you. I love you. And y'all my babies. As I always like to say in the close, thank you for all those biddies that are out there flowing. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you for the biddies. Thank you for the biddies. Oh, y'all doing that thing. Y'all doing that thing. I appreciate your support. If you're not following me on YouTube, I'm going to say this one more time. I need 12 more people to take me to a whole nother level on YouTube. If you would go out there to YouTube, I would surely appreciate that. Now, as I always like to say, as we close out and we conclude this day, I love you and I want you to have peace for your journey. God bless you.